Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sports Bay Show with Byron and Eric.
Welcome.
We have an impromptu show. We got on two good guests tonight.
We've got two.
Two. We got Femi Allen Badejo Sr., if I am pronouncing her correct. I'm sorry
Say
if
that
I'm
three
not.
times.
Say it quick. Former fullback. Do you remember what he's teams he's from? I can't.
He was
remember.
drafted by the Minnesota Vikings.
And he's Super Bowl champ, correct?
He won a championship with Baltimore, and he played a little college ball. This little college called San Diego State, which isn't a state, but it's called San Diego State.
And then we got on Fox Sports announcer James Patrica of NFL and college. So it's going to be an interesting show. Let's get into a few topics. So, have you heard anything yet of what's going to be happening in any other sport? Have you figured out any more openings?
Well, we've got more clarity on the NHL situation. Congrats on the Lightning making the playoffs officially, as well as basically the whole league. 24 teams. Congrats, you made the playoffs.
Do you like
everyone gets a trophy?
Do you honestly like that idea that they did, the 24 teams, where the four main teams get the bye, and then it's not like they're playing any games? Do you like that idea? You really like that
I think
idea?
24 teams is a lot. That's, I mean, what are there, 32 teams?
Yeah.
So, I mean, almost every team makes the playoffs. So I don't like that. I mean, I guess it could have been like 16 and then not had the first round bye. Something, but it is what it is. And, yeah, I mean, we'll see with the Lightning. I like where the Lightning are. I like the top four teams. Even if you lose, you're still in it. You're moving on to the second round.
Well,
so
I think also another adaptation of this, I think the NBA is doing something similar too, aren't they? They're doing, I don't follow them much either, like I'm sure you don't, but I believe that's the talk out there, that they're going to be starting here, I believe, in Orlando as a joint site.
Excuse me, this is not
Las
Orlando.
Vegas.
This is not Orlando. Let's make that clear.
I clearly understand that, but we gotta shout out to our brethren out there in Orlando. I mean, come on.
O-Town.
O-Town.
O-Town unite.
O-Town. I mean, got to shout them out.
But yes, I did hear. Was half the teams were going to play in Orlando and half were in Vegas?
Yeah, that's the talk. Yeah, so
that makes sense. I mean, there's is it still called Disney World of Sports?
Yeah.
That complex is pretty massive and a lot of courts there. So, the same thing with Vegas. They have a lot of courts. So I mean, it makes sense. Not that we can go and see the games live.
Not yet, at least.
I would if I had the chance.
Although I did see this. I was going to buy concert tickets to see the Stirred. The day before my birthday.
Were you?
But it got canceled. So I think, as I was telling the wifey.
Yes. Hey, speaking of that, what's happening Monday?
We are officially tying the knot as of the state records recommend.
Yes, via the state of Florida, he will be a married man on Monday.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Congrats.
Thank you. Now all that.
Not really, but yeah.
Now all you need to do is get married, sir.
Again.
Again, yes. Find the right one, and you will.
Yes.
But yeah, we can't wait. I told her not to be nervous. She's nervous, but it's no need to be nervous.
Well, I would be nervous if I was her too. I mean, look who she's marrying.
We know a dumbass. I know. So.
Well, I wasn't gonna say that. I mean, you said that. Okay. Yikes. Okay, that went hard left field.
Left field. Come on, it's me. Come on, you know.
No, it is. It's not. That's like center field for you.
But yeah, back to that though. I think, and I was telling her this, I think once sports comes and if the NFL continues because you can still get tickets on the website for the NFL games coming up this season for fans to go out. So if they continue their onslaught of them saying we're going to start the season with fans in, that's going to be a key, I think, for concerts as well, for these events to open up for concerts. Don't you think?
I think yeah.
That have all been postponed.
I think it would open the flood. I think concerts. I mean, no. See, I think concerts are. I don't see any concerts this year because that's something that you like sports. People are competing and live concerts. You don't. I don't want to say you don't need them.
Yeah, but sports will be key though, because if the NFL goes on with having as many people as they do at a game, which I know that's their intentions, and you think the start of the season is in what, September? They start the actual real games.
Second week in September.
Yeah. So if they get stands in the seats and they fill up,
yeah,
I honestly think that's going to help out with concerts. I really do.
Oh, it would help out. Yeah, yes. And you want concerts to start. I mean, there's so many people that are employed.
Because we're supposed to have 98 Rock Fest. Remember, that was canceled. I had tickets, VIP tickets for us to go.
That's a bad beat.
So, yeah, unfortunately, they have it scheduled now till September.
I was supposed to be in Vegas right now. Actually, probably flying back here in the next few hours. Casinos open June 4th. Yeah, so things are slowly opening back up. Yeah, baseball. I mean, baseball's still in limbo. I mean, they came out with.
You can't decide. I know they can't decide yet.
I saw the biggest stars are getting like a 70% pay cut.
I hate to say it, but I honestly don't think there'll be baseball. I mean, I asked Tom Davey, our guest that we had on Sunday night. He honestly thinks there will be baseball.
He thinks there will be.
As
each day goes by, it's less and less likely that there will be baseball. But the Rays, they were having workouts. They started that Monday. I saw there was like 14 players at the Trop today. So there's.
I heard that. Yeah, they start. Yeah, workouts.
I'm still hopeful. I'm not going to be negative there. I still think there's baseball, but we'll see.
So should we get into our first guest?
Yeah.
So
let's do it.
Your most favorite position.
Yes, most.
That we talked about last week, where you get the most hard on.
Oh, we going there. It's only Wednesday, Byron. It's not a Friday show.
So let's get right to it then. I'm going to contact Femi Alimbadejo Sr. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
But what was I gonna say? Yes, fullbacks. Best position there is.
No, it's not.
Stop.
You know what the best position is? Linebacker.
Why? Because you resemble one?
I don't resemble a linebacker. I resemble a wide receiver. Thanks for calling me fat. Thanks for calling me fat.
I was gonna say water boy.
Yo.
Hey, welcome to the show. To the Sports Base Show with Byron and Eric. Let me say this name. I don't want to mispronounce it. If I am, I'm sorry. Femi Alimbadejo. Is that correct?
Ayan Badejo.
Ayan Badejo. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. We didn't want to, we wanted to make sure we had it correct.
Okay, that's all good.
So how are you? Are you staying safe with you and your family?
Yeah, everything is good. Just, so far so good. No issues. Just laying low, keeping head low, and yeah, all is good. How things down there?
Yeah. This is Eric. Yeah, things are going pretty well over here in the Tampa Bay area. Luckily we weren't hit very hard, or at least hit as hard as some of the other areas in the country. So yeah, things are going well. Thanks for asking. So kind of want to get right into this. The first question I always like to ask is your college career. So you played at San Diego State. What did you learn there that kind of translated to your success in the NFL? And how was your draft day experience?
Give me one. Mhm.
I'm sorry, bad connection here.
Did we lose you? Can you hear
No, I'm
us?
still here.
Okay. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Is
Okay.
that connection better now?
Yes,
Yes,
we
it
can hear
is.
you. We can hear you better now.
Yes.
Thank you.
I just want to make sure I don't hear am I hearing an echo in the background? Okay, no, I think we're good.
Okay. Sorry about that. It's technology.
Can you hear us?
Like an echo.
But he hears the echo.
What?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just hearing my answer coming back to me, so it's going to really break up like my responses if I have to wait to hear myself. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. So you went undrafted in '97. Were you projected as a draft pick, or were you or did you not?
You still there?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
He hears an
I
echo.
think that.
Hold on. Let me try calling you back. I'm sorry.
All right.
All right. Sorry about that.
That was weird. Sorry, we're trying to figure this out. And yes, El Bushman, we couldn't hear him either, so we're trying to get this settled. I'm gonna try calling him again.
Were you using the same thing? Is this we always do?
Yeah.
Look,
Hey,
Hey, is it a little bit better now? Can you hear us? Or do you?
it's a little bit better. There's just a lot of it almost sounds like static in the background. I mean, am I clear on your end?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
clear on our end.
All right, cool. All right. Well, so just let me answer your question. So no, I was not supposed to be drafted. I wasn't even going to play in the NFL. Actually, when I went to San Diego State on my football scholarship, I actually was going to play baseball. I actually played baseball in junior college, and I was actually a better high school baseball player than I was in football.
Huh.
And so my head coach basically said, like, hey, the pro day's in a couple weeks. Like, baseball is going to be here. You know, you still have 2 years of eligibility for baseball left. You might as well go out here and run this pro day and see what happens, because if you make it, you make it. If you don't, then you got baseball. You know what I mean? So, like, you might as well come out and run and lift and do all the drills. I have a bunch of NFL coaches that are asking about you. And I said, all right. I went and told the baseball coach, no worries, go do your pro day. And I went and I ran a 4.5, you know, I jumped high, I ran fast, I caught everything. And a couple teams had a little bit of interest. The Rams came back and worked me out again. The Vikings and a couple other teams. And the Vikings really took an interest in me. And then at the end of the draft, on the last day of the draft, this is when I still had a pager. This is 1997, right? So I had a pager. I didn't have a cell phone. I got a 612 page from a coach in Minnesota that said, you know, basically like, you know, call this number, with page, you know how pages are. It's just a page, right? Maybe you guys don't know what pages used to be like.
Oh yeah, we remember those days.
Oh, you remember? Okay, all right. So I knew who it was, and basically they offered me, you know, $1,000 signing bonus and offered me an invite to training camp. And that's basically how I started my NFL career with the Vikings. And it was the only team that offered me a deal. Like I said, it was $1,000, and
wow.
I took it, and I was happy as hell. Like I didn't look back. So that's kind of how it all started. All completely unexpected. not why I went to San Diego State initially. I just wanted to, I wanted to play Division I football, and I wanted to get a real big college experience, and obviously I got that and more. So that's kind of how that all took place. And actually, what's interesting is my senior year, I was actually voted most improved player by my teammates. So at our senior banquet, I actually got that award, which is probably one of my favorite awards I've ever gotten. For my peers to vote me most improved player, I had a pretty good senior year. I played tight end, I played some running back, I played some receiver. I was kind of like a Swiss Army knife out there. And we had a real good team, we had a real good offense. I think we had 10 of our 11 starters on offense that eventually made it to the NFL one way or another. We beat Oklahoma, we beat Cal. We had a real good team my junior and my senior year at SDSU. And those guys and those coaches really kind of helped me prep for the league. And like I said, the rest was kind of history from there.
That's awesome. It's an interesting story, but probably a story that a lot of people kind of in the NFL kind of take, because you kind of look at the top draft picks, but there's so many people that go undrafted and actually make a team and find success like yourself. When they
at my height and my weight, like I can play anywhere from the slot to the backfield. I knew I could I wasn't big enough to be like a true tight end, but I could, at the NFL level anyway. But I played all of those positions, like at the college level and at the high school level. Basically everything from the slot to the backfield I could do at a really high level. So I think it brought me in as an athlete on offense, knowing that I would learn and figure it out. And I basically learned how to play running back. I didn't learn, but I figured I could play running back at the NFL level. I could play some fullback, and I could play some H-back, some movement stuff. And I could run all the routes from the outside all the way to the backfield. I had done that basically all through high school and all through junior college, and as well as San Diego State. So, if you show that you're smart and you show that you're an athlete, they're going to find a position for you. That's the awesome thing about being in the league. They'll find something for you, and that's kind of great. Special teams, of course, too. Without special teams, I wouldn't have played it down in the league. But the special teams is what kind of carried me through in the beginning. Sure. That's why I started getting really involved in offense.
Now, you played and won a Super Bowl here in Tampa, nonetheless, at Raymond James when you were with the Baltimore Ravens. Take us through that experience that night when you guys won the Super Bowl from the New York Giants.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about that is I got hurt like right before the playoffs started, and I had surgery, so I actually didn't play in any of the playoff games, and I didn't play in the Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
So I had to do my best to enjoy the nightlife, so to speak. I went to the Playboy party. I went to the Sports Illustrated party. I think ESPN might have had a party. It was kind of a blur. I drank a lot and had a good time. I mean, I did what I had to do. I couldn't just sit in my room and cry about the fact I couldn't play, right? So,
right.
I had a lot of people there that I knew, and obviously being on the Ravens, and I had VIP access to everything. The NFLPA had their party, so I enjoyed the week, of course, and then in between treatment and drinking and partying. I had a great time, and I had no doubt we'd win the game. I just didn't think the Giants could deal with us. First of all, they had no idea what was coming offensively with our offense with Jamal, and they had no idea what was coming with our defense. Like they were, honestly, like we believed that the game was over. All we had to do was go out there and play, and obviously we did that. It wasn't close. Right. But the night of the win, I remember, Dave Modell, who obviously is the son of Art Modell, and actually Dave passed on a couple years ago. I think he died from cancer. RIP to him, but great owner, and obviously is that Art legendary in the NFL. A lot of the things that he did, bringing, he had a big role. Before he owned the Ravens, obviously he owned the Browns. The Browns are the old the Ravens are the old Browns.
Right.
And Art had a big part in the NFL moving to television, and a lot of those big TV deals that got the NFL popular. That started with Art Modell, actually. So I was really close with Dave Modell. We would often share a drink. I can say that now. I'm not playing anymore. Obviously, I don't think Dave's going to mind. He was the kind of guy that would love to hang out with the players when he could, quietly, of course. We'd meet at a bar after some of the games, have a drink. There was a Mexican bar that we would meet at every now and again in an area here called Federal Hill. And Dave and I, shared a few drinks. But I remember hugging him, and I remember him, and Brandon Stokely caught the first touchdown in that game. And Brandon was a really good friend of mine. So me, Brandon, and Dave have this picture of us in the locker room holding the Lombardi Trophy.
Nice.
It was epic. I remember
Nice.
that like it was yesterday. And then I remember the after party, just everybody just like when you prep some people their whole life. Obviously, some people, young guys, just for that season or a couple seasons, you don't know that you're ever going to win a Super Bowl. Like, the first goal is to make the NFL. The next goal is to be successful. The third goal is to play as long as you can. And then I don't give a damn what anybody says. The fourth goal is to win a Super Bowl. It's
Right.
the last thing on your list.
Yeah.
I mean, why does it doesn't, if you play 1 year and win a Super Bowl, what does that do for you and your family? Not a damn thing. Your goal is to be relevant in the NFL for as long as you can for you and your family and for your legacy. And then the Super Bowl stuff is important, of course, right? Like stack your time, earn the respect, make some money, and then last on that list of things that you want to do is win a Super Bowl. And those are personal goals. Team goals is always to win a Super Bowl, right? So both things these things are juxtaposed, but they can both happen in parallel, believe it or not, right? So, but let's just to be real, when you're an undrafted rookie free agent and you're on a practice squad and you're just creeping your way up, like the last thing you're thinking about is the team winning a Super Bowl. You're just thinking about surviving.
Right.
You're thinking about putting food in your mouth and food on your table and being around for the next week. That's all that matters to you. And anything beyond that is just, hey, okay, that's the next thing. It's just, you just keep it moving. You don't get too comfortable. You just keep grinding. Before you know it, then you start thinking about playoffs and Super Bowls because you've established yourself as a legitimate NFL player. Until you become a legitimate NFL player, none of that other shit means anything until you establish that you can play in this league. And I'll tell you, anyone that says different is full of shit. That's the real deal.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah, that's awesome. I've been to Baltimore. Baltimore is an underrated city. I'm more of a Fells Point guy than Fed Hill, but I know the two, and that great city, by the way.
Yeah, I actually live in Harbor. I live in Harbor East. Harbor East is one of the newer developments, right in between Fed Hill and Fells Point. So to tell you the truth, what's interesting is that I with obviously the coronavirus shutdown and all that stuff. I walk a lot, and when I can and when I'm feeling up to it, I'll walk the Fells sometimes, and sometimes I'll walk the Fed Hill. But this neighborhood, this environment. Has really developed over the last decade. I've been back for about 6 years. I'm from California originally.
Okay.
I've been back about 6 years. I did my MBA at Johns Hopkins.
Nice.
I have a health tech startup company, and a lot of the things and resources that I've tapped into are here on the East Coast. So real appreciative of where I am now, and trying to evolve and continue to be relevant in this world and do something impactful at the end of the day.
That's awesome.
Now, I see you also had a chance to play with your brother Brendan in 2003 when you guys were with the Miami Dolphins. What was that experience like playing alongside your brother?
Yeah, I mean, once again, that's another thing that you just can't plan or script out. Just you get kind of lucky. We actually played together twice. We played together in 2003 and 2007. 2007 wasn't as much fun because I ended up getting cut from the Bears like in November. But anyway, 2003 was amazing. Yeah, he was playing in Canada. He was all Canadian, everything over there, crushed it in Canada. And the Dolphins gave him a shot to come to training camp. I was already in Miami. And a couple guys in front of him got hurt, and the rest is history. He ended up playing a decade in the league. He ended up becoming a 3-time Pro Bowler. I think he was an alternate twice as a special teamer. Picked off Tom Brady in a game.
Wow.
It was amazing to play together, but it was even more amazing to watch him take off and his NFL career take off. And after I retired, he ended up coming and playing for the Ravens. So, I was on the 2000 Ravens, and I have my Super Bowl ring. He was on the 2012 Ravens, so he also has a Super Bowl ring. Both both have rings with the Ravens. The Ravens have only won Super Bowls when Ayan Badejos are involved. You see what I'm saying?
I like that. You guys are the key on why they made them. There you go. I like that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking Lamar. I'm thinking Lamar can make up for the lack of Ayan Badejos because my son Femi Jr. is only 13, so it's going to be a bit. I think Lamar's got some work to do, but I think he's going to get it done this year.
Oh, there you
I
go.
believe him.
Right. So I also see too. You also had a couple tenures with the late great Dennis Green. How was he as a coach when you played for him?
Yeah, Denny. There's still things that I can hear Denny's voice every now and again in things that everyone's got to carry their own water. That's something I heard him say. First time I ever heard that phrase was when I was a rookie in '97. the Bears, the Bears are who we thought they were. I mean, we let them off the hook. I was on that Arizona team that
Nice.
they gave up that game, and guess what? My brother was on the Bears when that happened. So my brother and I seem to have a lot of things that are intertwined. A lot of big events have been shared between us. Sometimes on the opposite ends, right? But
Sure.
yeah, Denny was a great coach, and what's interesting is Denny actually lived. I grew up in Santa Cruz, California. Denny had a house in Santa Cruz, and while he was coaching at Stanford, so I think Denny knew I was from Santa Cruz, and probably the fact that I went to Santa Cruz High, and I was from this little beach town, and I think he had a little soft spot for me. So I think that's why part of the reason why he gave me a chance. I mean, I'm sure he believed in me, but part of the reason why he gave me a chance is it's probably because I'm from the Bay Area, and he probably had a little soft spot for the neighborhood. And then two, Denny, when Denny retired from the Vikings and then came back with the Cardinals, I was one of the first free agents that he signed. I was a free agent out of Miami, and Miami wanted me to come back, and I said, no, I'm going to take my talents to Arizona, where Denny's at. Denny's the only coach that ever signed me to a multi-year deal. Every other time I played in the league, I played on 8 1-year deals, and I had 1 3-year deal, and that 3-year deal was with the Arizona Cardinals.
Wow.
With Denny at the helm. So.
That
Oh yeah, one more thing. I did play in the UFL. In 2009, and guess who the head coach was? Denny Green for the California Redwoods. I played one last year. I was trying to get back. I wanted to get one more season in the league, and I wanted to go out on my own terms. And it didn't really work out. I had a pretty bad knee at that point, and I needed microfracture surgery. And instead of getting microfracture surgery, I got a scope. And to be honest, I don't think it did much. But I limped my way through that year. I kept my mouth shut, and I played hard. But by halfway through that season, I was like, oh, I'm definitely done. I'm not going to say anything to anybody about this, but my knee is jacked up. I just couldn't explode anymore. I could fake it for a little bit, but I just didn't have the explosion or the ability to cut and jump the way that I could prior to that knee injury. And a knee injury that I'd had a couple years, I was kind of dealing with it for a bit. I just didn't want to say anything about it, but it caught up to me in 2009, and then officially I retired in 2010. So that was it.
Wow, that's a long career, though. I mean, especially playing football. And considering someone who thought about playing baseball. So.
I mean, I was lucky. I was blessed. I worked hard, but definitely had some good luck, and the karma went my way a few times. The universe was bending my way a few times, and so you just got to be ready and got to be prepared. You don't get too many chances in the league. I lost a job to injury. I gained a job from injury. It's that's just the way the league is. It's kind of a dog-eat-dog world out there, and I'll tell you right now, it's one of the best times of my life too. So I wouldn't change a thing.
That's awesome. Before we let you go, we always like to ask this question. And since I take it, are you still a Baltimore Ravens fan now after your playing career?
Oh, I'm a Raven all day, every day.
Okay.
That's the only team I care about. Purple. I bleed purple. My brother's a Raven. I'm a Raven.
Right.
My kids are born and raised in Baltimore. Their mom is from Baltimore.
Nice.
I moved back here. Obviously, I moved back here to be closer to my kids, but to have a chance to go to one of the most prestigious universities in the world, in Johns Hopkins, obviously, to be a part of one of the best cultured sports organizations in my opinion in North America, the Ravens. Great culture, great coaches have come through. Obviously, with Coach Billick and Coach Harbaugh, the Ravens have a code. A lot of teams don't have a code, but there's a few that do. The Steelers have a code. The Niners have a code. The Cowboys had a code, but they're trash now, in my opinion.
Yes,
the Ravens have a code. There's a couple other NFL teams. Seattle has a code. There's a couple teams. New England has a code. There's teams that when you hear their name, you go, that's going to be work. When we play them, it's going to be work. They show up and play. Doesn't matter who, where, when, what. Green Bay has a code. You know what I mean? So there's a couple teams that I feel like, when it comes to culture, coaching, and code, only about 9 or 10 teams check that box, and the Ravens is one of them. And that's the team that I care about. I'm a big Lamar fan. I go to a ton of games. I live a mile from the stadium. Nice. I interned under Coach Harbaugh in 2011.
Oh, wow.
Dick Cass, who's the president of the team, is a mentor of mine. Steve Bisciotti was the minority owner when I played, so I know Steve really well. I love Eric DaCosta. He was a scout when I played. He's the GM. Ozzie was the GM when I played. Ozzie's still involved. There's not a lot of teams that have that culture coaching and code thing. That three kind of check all three boxes, and the Ravens do. That's why the Ravens are always going to be a handful for wherever they play.
Right. How do you like their chances?
Did I answer your question? Did I answer your question? If I care about the Ravens, did that come through? I'm not sure.
I think you're a Ravens fan. I think is what I got out of it. No. Yeah.
Okay.
So, how do you like their chances against, like obviously Kansas City being the champions? Do you see those two as the top teams in the AFC going into this season?
Absolutely. I see them as the top two teams in the league.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Kansas City's going to come here week 3, and Kansas City's going to lose that game here in the stadium. Now, doesn't mean the Ravens will beat them in the playoffs, and doesn't mean the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
But I believe, if you ask me to bet money on that game, when KC comes here, KC's going to lose that game.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do it. I got at least 5 on it.
Okay.
$5. Yeah.
$5. Yeah.
Yeah. I got at least $5 on it. Yeah.
But we want to thank you for joining the show. I hope that the sound was a little bit better. Did it get better for you?
Yeah, it did. It was better on the callback.
Okay.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Glad we could fix that.
So, yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem, guys.
But yeah, thank you for coming on. We would definitely love to have you on again when the season comes around. We know there will be. We just don't know when yet. But yeah, if you would like to, we'd love to have you on again. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Just give me a shout.
Definitely.
Sounds good. All right, have a good night.
Have a good night.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
You too. All right, bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Can you tell he's a Ravens fan through and through?
I love the energy.
Yeah, I know.
I love it.
And he was even threw in some cussing there too, like our best guest, Brett Miller.
Oh, Brett Miller.
Remember him?
Yeah. No, he's very passionate, and I think his passion helped him get through. Obviously the hard work too, but the passion for the game had to have helped him get through all these 1-year deals playing football.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy.
He made a great career out of it.
He
too.
did.
So I'm sure that passion went a long ways, and something definitely we can inspire to do.
Crazy. So yeah, I mean.
But yeah,
it's a definitely. His career is beyond amazing. I mean, I don't know many people that have that will to continue on like he did. I mean, it's hard, especially that time, especially to come back from. He was hurt that year in the Super Bowl.
He's hurt, and you come back and you signed in a multi-year deal with the Cardinals, and
yeah, crazy. But let's get into our next guy, shall we? Speaking it wrong, Fox Sports, football, college and NFL announcer.
Okay.
James Petricka. Also, you can hear him too weekly on the JP Show. Glad to have him on. I'll give him a call right now.
Yeah, I heard some good things about college too. I heard the Pac-12
is starting up again.
Yeah, starting up. I think they were the last conference.
Yeah, last conference. Gavin Newsom. Yeah. Go figure. He was the one who wanted to shut everything down. Still, and now he had the sudden change of heart.
Well, you can't be the only major conference not to play fall sports. So.
Hello?
Hey James, welcome to the Sports Space Show with Byron and Eric. How are you tonight?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Hanging in there, trying to stay safe. I hope you and your family are doing the same as well in these weird times.
Yeah, we are. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks for joining us, James. This is Eric, co-host of the show. Kind of want to get right into things here. And what's your take, given the whole craziness of everything going on right now? Do you see fall sports, in college football and then the NFL starting on time? What's your take on that?
I
I think I do. I think that they'll. I think NFL training camps might be a little delayed, or something. But I do think there will be football, both college and professional. As to whether or not there'll be fans in the stands, I'm not so sure. And college, I wouldn't be shocked if there are like some schools that play and some that don't, depending on how bad the situation is and what the state regulations are and things like that. But
Right.
I do, especially since we're still 2-3 months away from the start. So, but personally, I do think that there will be football.
Now, since you work for Fox, have you heard anything from the network yet on when the timetable for both NFL and college games are going to go through? Are they still planning on the same schedule, or have you heard anything yet?
Yeah, nothing nothing formally. We're just kind of going by. I work on the NFL side, so we're just kind of following the NFL's lead, and
Right.
everything to this point, as far as the NFL is, they're kind of planning, regular season starting and training camp and so on. So that's kind of what we're going by. Obviously, it's all wait and see. I mean, nothing is set in stone yet, but things could change, one way or the other. But basically, we're just kind of following the lead of the NFL, and they're all their indications right now, all their planning is for the season to start on time and having a full season. So that's kind of where we are right now.
And that's an interesting point. I would love this. I would love to see them do that, because right now on Ticketmaster you can buy their games. So it would be awesome to see them try and pull this through. I mean, look what they did with the draft. That was the highest rating draft. And speaking of that, I kind of like how they did the draft. Do you think that's what they'll do in the future with drafts, is do what they did this year? I mean, because I thought that was an interesting way of doing it. That showed true emotion of the players in the backgrounds. So, I mean...
Right. Yeah. I liked it too. And I give Roger Goodell a lot of credit for that. Because he took some heat early on, saying when he came out and said, look, we're going to have the draft, we're going to have it on time, we'll make it safe. And I thought he showed a lot of great leadership during that, and and they pulled it off, and it went great. I could see them incorporating some of that moving forward, with having the players at the home, and I thought it was great too to see the general managers and and the coaches at home with their families, and because having worked for a team many years ago, the draft, I mean, the scouts, GM, coaches, I mean, they're in the from probably mid-March till April. I mean, they're in the office 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day. So people even said, hey, it's nice that they got to spend some time with their family, and they were able to do that. So I could definitely see. I don't think it'll go completely virtual like they did, but I could see them incorporating some of that into it, definitely.
That's an interesting way to put it. Yeah, I mean, they're spending more time with their family when they wouldn't have. That is something as a casual fan that didn't really think of. Yeah. So I want to get into your days in the press box, and is there a favorite game or moment that you recall kind of working for Fox and like?
It's hard to say, because I really, as I'm working, I'm more caught up in kind of. I don't think it sounds selfish, but it's kind of caught up in working and what I'm doing,
Sure.
and I don't, because I don't really, you don't root so much during the game. I mean, you appreciate great plays and great moments and things like that, great endings, but. But honestly, it's funny because there are times I'll walk out of the stadium and it's like, who won? What was the score? Because you get kind of caught up in the moment of what you're doing. but it's it's always fun. Gosh, that's a good. There's one that kind of a crazy one. This actually happened this past season. We were doing the 49ers game. Atlanta was at the 49ers, and this was in December, I believe. It's late in the season. After the 49ers were kind of on their playoff run, and the Falcons had struggled, but they were kind of starting to come on and play well, and they ended up being a close game, and there was less than 10-15 seconds to go. Falcons had first they hit the ball at the 1 yard line. On third down, they scored, ruled a touchdown on the field. Go to replay, it was reversed. So now it's fourth down. They run a play. Julio Jones catches a pass. On the field, they ruled that he was stopped short. They go to replay, and they reversed it, and he ended up scoring and winning. Atlanta ended up winning. So that was kind of crazy, kind of a fun, you get exciting, the game went right down to the wire.
Right.
So, obviously, I know you've been tied up with good analysts announcing in your day. So, who would you say was the best that you basically called a game with?
Most fun, maybe.
Most fun with, shall I say? Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I've been in terms of play-by-play guys. I've been with Chris Myers for 15 years, so I've been with him most of the time. As a play-by-play guy, I've been with him, and he's been great. We started doing Bucks preseason games. And then, because at the time he wasn't with Fox, he was with Fox, but he wasn't doing play-by-play. So then it evolved. So we've been doing, I've been doing games with him. I've worked with some great analysts, some great guys, great analysts. Tim Ryan. Now I've been the last 3 years with Daryl Johnston, Moose Johnson, who's he's been great guy, true professional. Rondé Barber, who, we worked on Bucks preseason, and we did 3 seasons with Fox. Just a great guy, local guy, obviously here in Tampa, and super, super guy. Great, with everyone around, and really a pleasure to be around. Great to work with, great analyst.
That's awesome. That's a lot of big names there, yeah. One thing, as a fan, you don't realize how much behind-the-scenes work that you do before the game. So how many hours are spent before you do an actual game to get prepped for everything, to obviously sound and look professional doing the game?
Yeah, it's, for me, my role, I'm the, what I do is I'm a spotter. So most of my work is in the game. We have a chart in front of us with all the players' names and numbers on it, and I'm pointing, to Chris, 23 carried the ball, 52 made the tackle. So I'm like an extra set of eyes. Most of my work is, in game, but although I do a lot of prep during the week, read newspaper articles, and, I do the board. So I'm studying the rosters, and, I have a regular full-time job, but I would say probably anywhere 15 to 20 hours a week on prep. Now that's me. Now for, the producer, the director, Chris, Daryl, Ryan, those guys, for them, it's a, 40-hour, 80-hour, 50-hour week. I'd say, they, during the week, they're working all the time, studying film, going over stats, going over stories. So it's a full-time, during the season, it's a full-time thing. It takes a lot of time. And that's something that surprised me when I first got around it is, you think they show up on, Sunday and do the game, but it really, really is a lot involved.
Right.
So that leads me up to now of when the season does start, because I want to get into now. I'm sure my partner wants to hear from you too on the Bucks. Where do you think they'll be this year with the additions of Brady and
Gronk and the good draft class,
and a good draft class we had with Wirfs and Antoine Winfield, which I think was a steal in the draft for us. That was a good pick.
Right, I agree with. Yeah, I think that was a great pick too. I think they're they'll contend for sure in the NFC. I think they're easily one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the NFC. In the division, I do put the Saints a little bit ahead of them, only from the standpoint that I think the Saints maybe have a little deeper roster, but the other thing is, which I think could have a factor, is the Saints. Drew Brees, Sean Payton, their offense, they're all in system, and with not having an off season and the normal off season work, when the coaching staff, etc. So that might take a little more time. Whereas the Saints are kind of gelled there already. But I think and one of the other things I think with the Bucs is, obviously, with the Brady was a huge addition, and Gronk, and then you might see the draft class. But this was a good team to start with. I mean, they were. Look at last year, and obviously, some turnovers and things. I mean, they were close to being a playoff team last year.
Right.
And there's a lot of really good players, obviously, on offense. They're good on defense. So, good coaching. I think the world of Bruce Arians. So, and that's obviously, I think that's why Brady's here. I mean, I think he saw that as well.
Right.
So there's, I think it's a really good team, and they were on the verge of being that. They were starting that towards the end of last year. We saw a lot of that. So, I think they're they're definitely one of the top teams in the NFC.
My partner loves that because he's all in on the Brady train. The
Bucs have broken my heart too much, but they've got my heart again. So
unfortunately, I can't say the same. I'm just unfortunately not a Brady fan. I never have, because now with the additions, I can't see my Chargers. I'm so upset now because now we got all these bandwagoner fans. And ticket prices went through the roof now. I can't see them.
Right. That's funny. Yeah, well, it's funny. I was not much of a Patriots fan, but, I went to Michigan. So, with Brady being a Michigan guy, so I've always liked him from that standpoint.
Well, I guess before we let you go, you mentioned Michigan. Where do you see them faring in the Big Ten? I mean, it's the Big Ten, I think top to bottom, the Big Ten is the best conference in the country. I know we're an SEC country here, but I think the Big Ten is. Where do you see Michigan ending up? They're going to win the big game.
Well, yeah. I mean, the first part, I would agree with you on the Big Ten. I think top to bottom, it is. I think they're the strongest conference. I think they're right. They should be, content. Obviously, they have to get past Ohio State. This year, the big question is who's going to be the quarterback. If they get, good quarterback play, I think they'll be right in contention, and have to beat Ohio State. Obviously, I'm quite frankly, I'm surprised that since Harbaugh's been there, that they haven't beaten Ohio State. Now, there a couple of the games have been close. A couple of them they just got totally blown out.
Right.
But I think because that's one of the things, and this is what surprised me a little bit too, is since he's been there, the quarterback play. I mean, Shea Patterson was a little bit of a disappointment. I think he came in kind of transfer, had a lot of hype, and there were times when he just quick example, I was at the Citrus Bowl last year.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually working for Michigan Radio, and first possession, Michigan, Shea Patterson, he had a receiver that if he hit him in stride, it was a touchdown, and he overthrew it. And then they ended up, I think they kicked a field goal. Then in Alabama, like on their second or third play, same kind of play, but the guy hit him perfect stride, they scored a touchdown. And things like that can just switch a game. You have a guy wide open, open for a touchdown, you miss him. Now all of a sudden, boom, it comes back the other way. So, but I do think though, and actually Harbaugh, I just read just not too long ago, earlier this week, last week, he said, that he thinks they're close, they're on the cusp of that. So we'll see, hopefully.
Right. How much of a leash do you think Michigan fans will continue to give him? I mean, is Michigan an elite program? Or are they a 9-win team program?
It's that's a good question. Yeah, I personally, I mean, I look at it this way: they're a lot better than they were before he got there.
Right.
They went through some tough years. I mean, Rich Rodriguez, we missed the bowl game one year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't even bowl eligible. So, and I just read something the other standpoint. It's been good, but you gotta beat Ohio State at some point, and winning 8-9 games a year is great, but if you don't win that game, I'm not sure how much longer. But then there's always the question too. Well, who are you going to bring in that's better? So
right.
So then that leads me, before we let you go here, then, I mean, Ohio State, I don't know what to say about them. They're usually now, I mean, after the Urban scandal, again, like he had down here in Florida, I mean, you would think that team would be in shambles. So what do you think has kept Ohio State running from all these scandalous past? What's kept them good?
Well, that's a good point. So they've had a lot of really, really good players. I mean, some great players. The talent level, and that was something I was talking to someone at the Porter, and they're saying that the talent level between Michigan and Ohio State. He said there's probably 4 guys from Michigan that would have started on Ohio State's defense this year, maybe 3 on offense.
Right.
They were just that much better. But that'll be interesting to see because those are Urban's players. They still had Urban's players last year. His recruiting classes, and so how things go with the new coach if he keeps that up in terms of bringing in that type of talent and being able to coach them. Because Urban, for all of his the things that he's had some scandals here and there, but he's proven to be, I mean, he's a great recruiter and a great coach. So
right,
be interesting to see if there is a drop off, after he's gone for a couple more years.
Right, that is interesting, and we shall see. A big Big Ten guy here. So we want to thank you, James, for joining us on the show. Love to have you back when football is back, when college football is back, and fall is here, and it's still 85 degrees in Tampa. Love to have you back on the shows, but thanks for joining us for a few minutes of your time.
Oh, my pleasure, guys. Enjoyed it. Anytime. Love to be back on with you.
And give JP a shout out for me. Tell him I said hi.
I will do that. I go on his show every Wednesday. So if you ever listen to it, so
okay, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I do every day. He's one of the legends I listen to. That's why I'm in this business is because of him.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Good man. He's a good man.
Yes, he is. But thank you. You have a good night and stay safe.
Thanks.
Okay, you too, guys. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Bye.
Wow, what a good conversation with one announcers who's lived in the NFL world. That's the first NFL announcer, I believe. Correct? I believe we've had on the show.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, you've been doing this a little longer than me, but
yeah.
Yeah.
And to think that he's been with the best. He's been with Rondé. He's been with Chris Myers, who's a play-by-play guy. I mean, Myers is a legend in his own self doing NASCAR as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
you could just hear his voice.
Yeah.
Chris Myers, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, and to think, he's been with also now Daryl Johnson.
I'm a big fan of John. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fan of DJ.
So, I mean, to think, this guy has called the biggest games.
Yeah, he's been around. We talked a little college football too. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was fun to get in there.
Yeah. So I want to get into a little bit of headlines before we end the show.
Sure.
Have you heard this story about Roy Halladay's battle with his addiction problem and why that incident occurred when he was driving his plane?
Yeah, and there's a ESPN
story on it.
When's that come out? I want to say
soon.
Is it soon?
I want to say soon. Isn't it like a 30 and 30?
I saw the trailer of it, with his his wife kind of Perfection, I think it's called.
It's going to be on May 29th at 7, so tune in to E60 for it.
May 29th.
May 29th, this Friday.
Friday.
So we'll be tuned in. Like, we'll probably have it on our DVR then. We'll
Yeah,
DVR
that one
it
I
so we
definitely
can
wanna
see
watch,
it.
yeah.
I want to see it because Roy Halladay was one of my favorite pitchers.
I still remember memories of seeing him at the Trop
Yeah, same.
growing up. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I went to a couple games.
Well, and also when he trained here.
Trained here too in Dunedin.
And
yeah.
Clearwater.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember going to the Trop watching a few games when the Blue Jays had their old colors.
Right, and you were big. You lived right by the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
facility.
and I watched almost every spring training game that they had there, and he was pitching.
Right,
So
yeah.
to see him lose his life tragically,
And it was just here too.
yeah.
So on the
And he
coast.
did a lot of good work around here too. Community
Yeah.
work. I mean,
Yeah, that's.
the school that he worked for, I think it was CCC, Clearwater Central
Okay.
Catholic.
Okay. Yeah, his son and.
It's just crazy to think that his story. He was fighting addiction, and that's what caused that whole helicopter to go down. Crazy.
Well, and I think I heard he was like doing tricks with it too, and
That's what drugs can do, though. I mean, he
Right.
wasn't right in the mind.
right, yeah. So, but yeah, I definitely want to see that. ESPN, like I've always said, they do really good documentaries.
And I want to get into a former Ray. I hope to
Oh.
have on here soon too. Seth McClung. Did you hear about this? His son is transferring to Texas Tech from.
No, it's not his son. It's
from-
his nephew.
Oh, it's his nephew.
No,
I
it's
thought it
his
was his
nephew.
son.
No. No,
Oh,
he-
so you did hear about it.
Yeah. No, he has. I think he has 2 or 3 daughters, and they're younger. No, that's his nephew.
Okay.
Okay, I did see the Texas Tech. Yeah.
Do you think he's going to be a top? I haven't seen him play. Have you seen him play? Do you think he's going to be a top star in the NBA? I think it's NBA because I know he's playing college basketball right
I
now.
mean, I saw him do monster dunks in high school. I saw probably from Seth posting them, and then he became pretty nationally too, just his dunks. Well, look, the athleticism is in the blood with the McClungs.
Oh yeah, I mean he was a good pitcher in his day. Granted, unfortunately, he couldn't win with McClung, but I mean he had a good career.
Look, I always say when you make it to the major leagues, you're a top echelon.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with
Talent.
that one. Yeah,
So
I agree with that one.
even if you play for one at bat, that's the vast majority of people don't even sniff that.
Oh,
So.
oh. Also, this is our first time since meeting, since Sunday night. No, so Friday night. Did you watch the match on the cruise ship? Did you watch the match?
No, I was too busy throwing dice. So no, I did. I saw a little bit. We went to like a sports bar after, and I saw a couple holes. I think it was like the 13th and 14th hole.
Did you hear what everybody is talking about?
Yes, the
What
pants, the pants
The
splitting.
pants splitting of
Yes.
of one Thomas J. Brady.
Well, you also see him sinking that eagle shot there from 150 yards out.
I did see that.
He drains it.
I saw that. He drained it. I heard that one. So
So let's
Well-
talk about that, not pants splitting. Everyone wants to talk about the pants splitting.
I don't get
anyone
it, but
anyone can rip their pants, but not everyone can make a 150-yard shot.
and I heard it was a bad day too. It was
Yeah,
raining on the
raining,
course.
yeah.
But I did like though. A lot of people are saying now though. I did like how they were able to chit chat with each other and talk smack. You hear that? They
Right,
the
right, yeah, they had
broadcast.
yeah.
I liked how they do that, so maybe they could do that and get more people's attention in golfing now when watching
I heard
the broadcast.
Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas?
Yeah, Justin Thomas.
Yeah, that's his name.
That's
okay.
his name, yes.
He was out there, and Charles Barkley was.
Charles Barkley was doing the
He-
play-by-play, which I
He called him a fat ass.
which I know is funny.
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that.
JT called him a fat ass.
Why? Do you know why?
Oh, what was the context? Oh, I forget. Yeah, I forget the context.
What- What'd you think of the overall outcome, though?
Well, I think
Even though I know it was for charity, but still,
So,
you
yeah,
know there
you
was
won.
you know there was competition.
yeah,
No,
you
still.
won, but what they raised, what, 20 million?
Yeah, 20
20
million.
million?
Yeah.
That's insane. They need to have more charity events like this. With like, it was fun. It was fun to see what I saw of it.
Oh, and did you hear this too? That they're coming out with a Lance Armstrong documentary.
Well, I think the first episode came out already. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like honestly,
I saw.
why? What makes him such a big figure? I mean,
What do you mean? Why?
He cheated. He cheated the sport.
But he won like 7 straight Tour de France.
Yeah, doped up, which is all that league is tainted of. Cycling, come on, cycling. That's all you hear about is somebody doping up.
Right. So he was playing on an even playing field.
Does that make it right though to have a documentary on a dude?
Well, the guy was growing up. I mean, he was a top sports figure. I mean, he was right up there with Kobe Bryant, right up there with McGuire in the heyday. Griffey. He was right there. I mean,
I get the man came back from cancer.
tell me
okay?
you didn't wear a yellow bracelet.
No,
at least
I
once.
never did. Did you?
I definitely had my Livestrong bracelet on more than once.
Well,
Yes,
that's
I
a
did.
joke, honestly. I mean, after all the doping, that's a joke.
Well, I wanted to live strong, and it was $1, and it was supposed to have went to the American Cancer Society.
Still a joke. Because he cheated the game. Still a joke.
I still wore it though. Live strong, right here, left side.
So, I'm also seeing today, too, on ESPN, they're showing the NBA Classics, Kobe's final game. Can you believe it's been... can you believe it's been...
What did he score? 61?
Yeah, 61. And that happened
What year was that?
2016, 4 years a month ago, in April.
2016 it was.
Yep,
I would've
April of
guessed
2016.
I would have guessed a little longer than that. I mean, I remember watching it.
I do too.
It was 2016.
Against
Wow.
the Utah Jazz, I know, hard to believe, isn't it? Been that long, 4 years since he's been gone, and now he's gone tragically. We lost a legend.
Yeah.
Not just that, but, I mean, community figure that did everything for his community
and all the others.
and
that
all the
were
others
also-
around there that I've heard stories that he's done.
Yeah.
It's just hard to believe he's gone tragically. It really is.
Yeah.
And that's just...
But all right, let's talk about something positive. Who do we got on the show Friday? Hit it.
On the show Friday, we got former NHL player Mark Tardif of the Canadiens and Whalers. And then we're all going to be excited for this one because this guy is everywhere in the football community on your Sunday screen.
Who are you talking about, Byron?
The great Dean Blandino of Fox Sports, the review analyst.
The one and
Only.
only Dean Blandino.
And we're going to be sharing it, so you better share it that night
So
to everybody.
so watch it live. I don't want to see any replays, even though we got Blandino on. No replays. Watch it live.
We don't want to go to replay booth now, okay? So we don't want to send you that way.
Don't make us throw the red flag.
Yes.
Don't make us.
I have to throw a red flag at Eric every day for me to get a hold of him. So
And you are a red flag. You're a walking red flag.
I don't know. Maybe no. I'm a yellow flag. You're a red flag.
Okay, we'll go with that. That's a red card.
Wrong sport, but okay, I get the gist. For all you soccer fans out
Yes,
there.
that's soccer. Yeah. Football. But yeah, thanks for joining us on this show. A little
You want-
Wednesday,
You want a little special edition show?
a little special edition.
We'll have these every now and then once we can't get anybody on,
Yeah, we'll
it's
see.
canceled.
We'll pop up shows.
But before we head off, you want to tell everybody where they can follow us at?
You know, you've been cooking up so much. You tell the fans. Where can we follow them at? Spotify,
Okay. You can follow.
YouTube.
If you let me get to it, I
do it.
will. I will need your assistance on some of these because we got so many. First off, I want to start with Facebook.
Okay, Facebook.
We will be changing the name soon, so hopefully, right now, you can follow us at Still Sports Nerds. Follow us. Alright?
But that changes.
But that will change.
Sports Bay Show. Sports Bay.
Right. And then you can follow us on our group page. That will be changed as well, but right now it's called Tampa Bay Sports Bandits that you see on the screen at the very top. That will be changing too. YouTube, you can find us. That is totally changed now too. You can see us now and subscribe to us, please, at Sports Bay Show with Byron and Eric. Just look us up and subscribe. We would thank you for that. And you want to tell them, because I have no idea how many are available, so tell us, the fans, and me, for example, because I don't even know how many, what is available on the Anchor app, all these podcastings, where they can find us.
Byron, I don't know if I know what you're talking about. It's the Anchor app. There's podcasts.
I know, but it's delivered to a lot. I don't know who, though. I know there's Google's one.
Google and Apple.
Google, Apple, Spotify.
Apple, Google. We've hit all three.
There's others, too. I can't remember. There's so many. But anywho, regardless, follow us at Sports Space Show with Byron and Eric on there, too. Subscribe to that, whichever podcast you listen to. So, and stay tuned because we're going to have a new logo. I know we keep talking about it, but it's coming, people.
We're hyping it.
We're just relax, people. We're getting there. It's a process, but we are getting there. Like that term, process. Sound familiar, NBA fans? The Sixers? Process. It's a process.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. So it's going to be fun. See you guys Friday night. Stay safe.
Dean Bland